Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Squad Post podcast. I'm Daniel.
And this is Sam, and today we have a big show. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about what happened over the past few weeks in professional wrestling, and we're going to start with a pay-per-view that happened last week
Yes,
with
on
No
Saturday.
Surrender.
A lot of pay-per-views happened on Saturday. Saturday was a big day for
Yeah,
wrestling. There was AA, WWE, and Impact, and GCW. GCW did on
yeah,
a couple of shows. But yeah, Impact is the one that we're focused on right now because a lot of things happen that not only affect Impact, but affect a company like New Japan, who had a couple of their guys wrestle for the Impact Championships in Girls of Destiny, Tamatonga and Tangaloa, who faced Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows. Yeah, as I think I've mentioned to you before, I'm higher on Tangaloa and Tamatanga than most people just because I followed
yeah,
Tangaloa since he was like Camacho and hanging out with Hunico in
yeah,
WWE, and then he went down to Impact and became Mika, where he was kind of third wheel in that group with Drew Galloway and Eli Drake. Well, for obvious reasons. I mean, everyone loves Drew Galloway,
yeah,
and he's really found himself in New Japan when he with his team with his brother Tamatanga.
hmm,
But I don't think he's ever had like I say I'm really high on him, but I don't think he's ever had like the
yeah,
breakout performance until this G1. But that's just another
yeah,
stream. That's for another stream where we talk about New Japan. This time we're talking about Impact. And what happened after the match is the thing most people talk about. The match was okay. I'm not the highest fan on Gallows and Anderson, but I think Tamatonga and Tangaloa did a good job of like hiding their weak spots and really
yeah,
exemplifying the whole bruiser thing they have going on.
yeah. And I think for Gallows and Anderson to come back into the Bullet Club fold, it is going to be very interesting, especially now with what we see with Jay White in AEW, with being like the Bullet Club quote unquote guy in the elite. So
Yeah,
we'll see how that shakes out. I know Jay White has been quoted recently saying that he wants to make a super Bullet Club
yeah.
team, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, JY has his hooks everywhere. Like he has his hooks still in New Japan because he's
Yeah,
really still influential there. He has his hooks in AEW and he has his hooks now in Impact because he has Chris Bay and Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows who will hold down the fort for him in Impact. While he's still in the US, and that's one of the things we'll
yeah,
talk about how he's going to stay in the US while like people like Gorillas of Destiny are going to
yeah,
back to Japan and in the New Japan Cup. But I think one of the reasons he's going to stay in the US is because I think they really want to make him the face of New Japan Strong.
yeah,
That's my take on it. That's how I see things. They want to like they don't want him to be champion in New Japan Strong, but they want to like
yeah,
push him as like the guy because he's also known.
yeah,
Unlike a lot of the ones who came in after like the pandemic started, who like made their
yeah,
names themselves in New Japan, he was also known in New Japan, like Japan when he in
yeah.
Japan, and now he's here.
And I think that they're gonna bring him in AEW more often, especially with this partnership with New Japan and this whole Bullet Club super group that Jay White is trying to form. I think having those like I want to say 3 or 4 separate groups, all with Jay White involved, I think the Bullet Club is gonna have another resurgence in popularity.
Hmm. One thing I do want to talk to you about this particular incident is how do you think Kenny Omega feels? We know him and Jay White are not friends. They will
Mm-hmm.
probably never be friends. But right now, Jay White has who were Kenny Omega's backup for a while in the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. And then he's trying to have his find a way into the Young Bucks, who are Kenny Omega's like Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks are like cool. How
Yeah,
do you think Omega's going to feel when he comes back and he sees JY and Adam Cole leading the Bullet Club instead of him?
I think he's gonna think something's going on. Like he's gonna have a feeling that there's a little hint or something that there's something going on, and that's when he brings in God and
Oh,
and brings in, if he can, Evil and the rest of that side of the Bullet Club, because they seem to be going back to a Bullet Club Civil War for now.
I don't think he wants Evil. I don't know how long Evil and the rest of the House of Torture are going to be in Bullet Club, because I think what this is trying to do is trying to bring Bullet Club back to its roots. And they were a Guardian faction, and
Yeah,
but because of the pandemic and other factors, they've had to bring in more like Japanese wrestlers, which go against what the group was originally created
yeah,
for. Before before No Surrender, when we talk about JY and like being in
yeah,
AEW, I originally thought the plan was for Jay White and the Young Bucks versus Kenny and Good Brothers versus Adam and Red Dragon, and I thought that
yeah,
was going to be that was going to be the destination, but it doesn't look like that's what's happening now.
yeah,
Another thing that happened at No Surrender and also is on our thumbnail for this week is Eddie Edwards turned against Team Impact when well, the match
yeah,
was supposed to be Eddie, Chris Sabin, Rich Swan, Rhino, and uh sorry, it's on Rhino and Steve Macklin, which was
yeah,
supposed to be Josh Alexander, but then it became Steve Macklin. And we'll talk about that on
yeah,
a future episode when it like everything starts to the dust starts to settle on this Josh Alexander situation.
yeah,
But it was in the before the match, Eddie was taken out. I used that term very loosely because we
yeah,
found out what happened later. And Willie
yeah,
Mack was put into his place. And during the match, everything seemed cool. Macklin was working well with the others. And again, we will talk about that because like I think I have an idea what they should do with Macklin going forward. And and then Eddie comes out. And no one knows what he's gonna do. Well, I think a lot of people had a good idea what he was going to do because
mm-hmm,
Eddie for a while has been suspicious. Like if you paid a
mm-hmm,
really close attention to everything he's been doing since Honor No More came, like starting with when Chris Sabin and Vincent were fighting, and
yeah,
Eddie tripped Vincent in front of the ref. Like it was very clear it was in front of the ref, and he got them kicked out. And then he's always kind of been in the background of the brawls. Like Chris Sabin has and Rich Swan and Rhino and them, they've really taken the lead when they've been fighting Team Honor No More. But Eddie, for all his talk about like, yes, I'm the Impact guy, I'm Impact for life, he hasn't taken that much of a proactive role in this. He's kind of just been like, yeah, you guys go ahead, I'll be there in like 2 minutes. Like Hobbs doing the whole feud with
yeah,
Team Taz when he was So like it was kind of obvious where it was going, but like it really became clear when he came out and he like hit Rhino in the head with the kendo stick.
yeah.
What are your thoughts on this?
Uh, I think it's interesting. It freshens up Eddie's character, and I think it makes sense because he too was in Ring of Honor for a short time, and him and Davey had some good stuff there, and him being a heel, Eddie is such a good heel. You can bring him into Honor No More, have him team with the OGK in 6-man action against like
That's a good
Violent by
trios.
Design or something
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
a good trio.
Yeah,
Oh, so
and I think just this it's gonna reinvigorate Eddie a little bit more. It's gonna fire him up a little bit more and really like make him want to go all out.
yeah, like you said, this will freshen up his character. Like there are few people on this on this planet that love Eddie Edwards from a fan perspective more than me, because like he's the reason I kept watching Impact after AJ left. AJ was my first season, then him and like Lashley and Sabin and those guys. They kept me going, but like he's near a reboot for a while. Like this Heart and Soul of Impact was good for like the first
Yeah,
2 3 years, but we're approaching maybe I think four of him being
yeah,
like, yes, I'm the Heart and Soul of Impact. And so yeah, he needed a reboot, and I think this heel turn is a great way to do it. He can be a really
yeah,
good leader of like Honor No More before this,
yeah,
and like he can like help lead them before they decide what they're
yeah,
going to do. They'll probably like not dissolve this faction, but they'll like go off on the separate ways after like maybe Slammercy or Bound for Glory.
Yeah.
And Eddie's the perfect guy to get them through that, because this like
Yeah.
keeps the feud like going in a natural way.
And this makes Sami Callihan look like such a babyface when he comes back.
Sammy's Twitter has been like, Sammy's always been tweeting during Impact, but it's mostly like screw you, screw you, screw you. When Eddie turned, he was just like, I told you all, I was the good guy. You all didn't want to listen to me. That being said,
Yeah,
it should not be Sami Callihan that gets Impact's revenge on Eddie Edwards. I don't know what his timetable is, and like, yeah, he should recover.
Yeah.
So because like, it's been going through my mind. I know we said we talk about the Josh Alexander situation later, but it was like, if Josh Alexander is done,
yeah,
they need someone that can be a legit contender, someone people actually like,
yeah,
and to take the title off Moose. So there are three names that were running through my head.
Yeah.
Jake something, Willie Mack, and Steve Macklin. Those are three guys you can heat up in an instant, especially in a feud like this. And we saw like Macklin and Eddie, they were like kind of at odds, because obviously Eddie was like, you know what? I know how to get suspicion off me. I'm just gonna blame Macklin. And he did. And he kind of, well, not me. I always knew Macklin was good, because like, again, Eddie was moving very weirdly. So Macklin might just murder Eddie in front of all of us. That is a possibility that could happen. And I think he does it either at Sacrifice or Rebellion, and they have a no DQ match, because I kind of want to see Macklin spear Eddie through a table. I don't know why, but that image has been stuck with me since No Surrender, and then he gets the shot like Slammiversary. This is to say, if Josh is done, if there's a chance Josh resigns with Impact, he should be the next world champion. But until then,
sure.
I think you see what you have in Macklin.
Yeah, Steve Macklin is one of these guys that you can really build upon, especially with what he's been doing since he's come into Impact. He's done some great stuff with like the original vignettes and stuff like that, and he's really brought a different side of him compared to the last time we saw him on television, as we know. Yes. But
you're going to hear the phrase, I'm higher on this guy than most, or I was higher on this guy than most. And Macklin represents why I will always choose to be higher. I said it from the time he was stuck in that warehouse back when they had no plans for him. I was like, maybe you can see what this, because I saw him like brief flashes when he was in tag matches that, hey, this guy can go. So I was like, maybe you see what he can do as a single star. And the other place never did. So when he came to Impact,
they never saw that in him.
Yeah, when I saw those vignettes, I was just like, you all are about to see that I am right. And and Steve Macklin has done nothing but prove me right. And he's one of those guys that then no real moral victories in like sport like wrestling. I mean, they are, but they like far and few. Steve Macklin is the perfect example of, you lose a title match, but you come up bigger in the end. Those matches with Trey Miguel, especially the last one, where it was like, if you lose, you can't challenge for the extra win title no more. And the match with Gresham. I think because like we saw that storyline. If you haven't seen any of those matches with Gresham, check them out. They're worth your time.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah, we saw in that Steve Macklin, none of us thought he was a pure rules guy, and he played to that. That's what made that better. He was just like, I'm going to do what I do. If I lose like some advantages like the rope breaks, then that's fine, but like I will make Gresham respect me. I don't know if Gresham respects him, but I do, so that's important.
And Macklin is going to be very over the next few months. I think Macklin is definitely destined to be a future world champion, like you said, if Josh Alexander does not get a new contract with Scott
Which he should.
Company.
Be clear, we are both in favor of Josh Alexander signing pen to paper and Impact and coming back. But in the case that it doesn't, just to make that clear.
Yeah. Just to be clear, if Josh Alexander doesn't resign,
yes,
Macklin is your next.
He should be
your next option.
People love him.
Yeah.
Speaking of people love, there are the other guys I want to like talk about real quickly. I mean, sorry, four. Speedball is
Yeah.
we both have talked openly like we love Speedball. Speedball's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, he did really good in that four-way with Ace, Bay, and Jake something.
Yeah.
Two of those guys I want to talk about real quick because Jake something is next in line for X Division title shot. And I don't think a lot of people saw him coming, saw him winning because they were just like it seemed like he was there. Like,
Yeah.
because in my mind, I thought they were going to push Ace Austin. I thought they were going to try and give Ace Austin
Yeah.
another X Division title run. And if it worked this time, option C was right around the corner.
Yeah.
Because speaking of people that can take off the tail off Moose, Ace Austin's young. He's
really
everyone in
young.
Impact loves him. Like Drama King has talked openly about Matt Redwald. Like he's talked before, like, oh yeah, Ace Austin's awesome. So I thought they were going to try and circumvent heel versus heel by like doing option C. They didn't, and now Jake something and Trey Miguel is going to be an amazing match. Let me just make that clear. Both of those guys have two compelling styles, like the Macklin Trey Miguel matches we were talking about before.
Jake something is a really good guy in Impact. He's actually one of my favorites. And Trey Miguel too. Actually, both those guys are so good, and that match is going to be really good. I think if something can't take the title off of him, I think a guy like Speedball or
I think you go back Ace versus Trey and you see what you have.
Yeah.
Because like I love Speedball, but I also love Ace. Ace is like we've talked about. He's young, he's loved. Like he could be someone you can and should build around.
Yeah.
Although knowing Impact, who knows if they will. But like I said, you see, because Ace is amazing. But another guy that's also amazing that again, Impact doesn't have the best, Willie Mack. Willie Mack has been out for like a couple of weeks. And then he returned on Saturday and he was in the match and he showed out. All of them did, but like Willie Mack showed out. So I'm really interested to see what he does in the future. Maybe he gets another title shot.
That would be cool.
Moose, that would be cool. But also, we need to talk about the other five. This match was not a Team Impact like Drama Fest. Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, PCO, Vincent, and Kenny King. First of all, I just want to say, get this out of the way. All the disrespect I showed Matt Taven, I apologize for. That dude has made me a fan in the last like year. Ever since Bennett came back, Matt Taven has been amazing.
Yeah, the original Kingdom, they're to me, I like them. They're really good, especially Mike and Maria. Those two as a duo, they're of course they're so into
they're
the business.
They're charismatic, and they get the business. They get what they have to do. They can play that. We're going to talk a lot about that probably in the next while we're talking about this. Those two guys can play their parts. They know what they have to do. They don't have any qualms. They're like, yes, you want us to get booed, we can get booed. You want us to get cheered, we can get cheered. Maria's so good at that.
Yeah,
like depending on who's,
especially like what she did in Japan when Mike and Matt went over there with her.
Yes. And Kenny King, I've been high on Kenny King. Kenny King was one of the first guys I saw in ROH, and like I've been high on him ever since. So seeing it back in Impact, I don't know if they're like. So I know PCO signed. I don't know if the rest signed. I think maybe the rest are still waiting out in ROH like Gresham. They're like waiting out for their next move.
I think the OGK are.
Yes,
but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, but I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, because OGK like they're doing stuff in NWA too. Like they're in the Cockpit Cup and stuff like that. So they're like making moves outside of Impact. So it'll be interesting to see when all the dust settles, where they end up. Because Impact does do a lot with like non-contracted talent. Yeah. They'll bring guys in for like dates, pay them, then be like, okay, we'll call you when we need you and stuff like that. Yeah. So they don't
like Cardona, for example.
Yeah, Cardona, Drama King. Those guys don't have contracts, but Impact's just like, yeah, we'll bring you in for tapings. And also Deonna Purrazzo shined again. Yeah, Deonna Purrazzo was really one of the highlights for Impact doing the like pandemic
Eh,
era where there were no
yeah,
fans.
especially earlier on.
Yeah.
Like as soon as she got released and came into Impact, she became a star right away.
Yes.
I
And
think,
it'd be
I
interesting
think,
to, oh sorry.
yeah,
It'd be interesting to see if like Taya Valkyrie,
yeah,
who became the number one contender at the AAA show,
yeah,
will she dethrone Diona? Because I don't think the RHL comes off Diona until at least Supercard of Honor. April 1st
yeah,
is the earliest I would see them taking that RH title
yeah,
off Diona. Because we know the circumstance with Roxy. She might sign with WWE, she
yeah,
might not, which is why they got the title off her. But I don't think
yeah.
they're going to take the title off Diona. What about you?
No, I see Deanna holding it. If Roxy doesn't sign with WWE, I think that they're gonna they're gonna keep it on Deanna unless Roxy doesn't sign.
Speaking of people that were big in pandemic eras, we there was another pay-per-view that happened on not pay-per-view, premium live event.
Yeah,
We will not be talking about that in that much detail, but it is important for next topic, which is Wrestlemania is around the corner, and Bobby Lashley is hurt.
yeah,
I was texting you because I don't watch Saudi shows. I was just like scrolling through Twitter and finding updates.
Mhm.
And like the minute I found out they got rid of Bobby Lashley, like I was texting you like, what happened? And it turns
yeah,
out he's legit injured. So obviously
yeah.
they did the right thing. He's out for 4 months.
But Paul Heyman mentioned on Raw this week that he
It's
was
not
gonna
gonna be
face
him.
him.
Yeah, it's not. They'll probably not
It,
retcon, but they'll say have Paul Heyman say next week or on SmackDown this week. Bobby
yeah,
Lashley can't pass the concussion protocol on time, so instead, here is
we're gonna
Brock
have Cody
Lesnar's opponent.
Rhodes.
It's not going to not debut Cody. Oh, if they do the announcement next SmackDown, next week SmackDown, I could
Yeah,
see maybe being Cody Rhodes, but you don't debut him against Brock Lesnar, and you don't debut him on a live event.
yeah,
Like I told you before, 2 weeks. I give it 2 weeks. We find out what Cody's next move is. And hopefully it's I mean not hopefully, but like we'll see what happens.
yeah,
But the story is Brock Lesnar is now WWE champion. Brock Lesnar has a match against Roman Reigns.
yeah,
That match is gonna be winner take all, and I do not like it. But I want to get your thoughts.
yeah. I'm iffy on it too. Title for title is something else. I heard all about the rumors and stuff over the past few weeks. I remember some people were talking about possibly it being title for title, and of course
It
it
is.
is.
I okay. I'm fine with title for title. Let me be clear. Just I don't trust them to do this well. And by that I mean like the titles work now because one's on Raw and one's on
Yeah,
SmackDown. If it does title for title, winner take all, I don't trust them to give either show equal importance, and that's a big
yeah,
hole to fill in either show. Because when
yeah,
they did last time, when Brock was not around, they like were like, okay, John Cena, here's the US Championship, make it important, and I think we can all
mhm,
agree, Cena made that title
yeah.
important.
And he had great matches.
Yes, no disrespect to Damian Priest or Sami
Yeah,
Zayn, I don't see WWE creative giving those two titles the same level of importance they did. And that
yeah.
is going to make the networks angry. We don't talk a lot about the networks on this show.
No,
We won't ever. But this is one case where we might need to because like
yeah.
the
It's gonna
networks
be a big topic in the next couple of years.
networks don't play well together. Like when WWE
Yeah,
was like, you know what, we have enough matches on Hell in a Cell. Let's put Roman and Ray in Hell in a Cell on SmackDown. USA saw
yeah,
that and was like, I'm sorry, what? So WWE was like, no, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. We'll put Lashley and Xavier Woods in Hell in a Cell on Raw to make it up.
yeah,
So the networks don't exactly play well together. So
yeah,
I don't. One idea was brought up by Joel Pearl, who was just like, okay, Roman wins the match, then he vacates the WWE title because he's like, I never wanted that. That was a Bach thing. I don't care. I have this title. And then we get like a tournament to see who is the next WWE champion.
yeah,
That could work. I'm not for it. I'm not against everything.
Yeah.
Every idea we have, it depends, and it's different in principle and in theory. So I would need to see it play out
Yeah.
in theory before I'm like, yes, that's a good idea.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Brock right now, what he's doing is some really good television. Him just literally just letting loose and just him being himself it's something else. Like we never saw that
Yeah.
when he originally came back. When he originally came back, he still had that UFC like stigma,
Yes.
I guess you can call it.
He's pulling triple duty this week. He was on Saudi Arabia on Saturday. He was on Raw
Yeah.
in South Carolina on Monday, and now he's going to be in Hershey, Pennsylvania on Friday. Paul Heyman's face when he was like, "You know what? I'm going to be Friday." Paul Heyman's face was great. That's another guy that is like I've been critical of the storyline, but Paul has been amazing. Like his facial expressions. Another match that's going to happen that we finally got confirmation on at Elimination Chamber is Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. This match
is a
needs
year
to
too
happen.
late.
I mean, not a year, but like 5 months.
Just about.
Yes. Like this is the match we all kind of thought, well, like, hey, they probably would do this, but none of us were really sure because we don't really have that much faith. Nor do they deserve that much faith.
Yeah.
But they did the right thing. And now it's going to be Becky versus Bianca. From the rematch, well, they have multiple rematches, but this one is going to be like the rematch from SummerSlam where Becky beat Bianca in 26 seconds.
Let's just have it not happen again.
I mean, it can, just the opposite way.
Yeah, that I'd be okay with. But
yeah, I think there was a lot of discussion yesterday. This might be the main event. I mean, I know Ronda
main event
won.
of night one.
Yeah, I know Ronda won, and that way she gets like a title shot. I don't think did they specify it was main event title shot when Ronda won?
Not sure.
Okay, because like if okay, I don't know how many people I speak for, but I think Becky Bianca is the bigger draw. I mean, not the bigger draw,
sure.
but I think
by far.
When you talk about fans, like I'm not talking about like everybody that might tune in for Wrestlemania. When you talk about fans, people that follow the product for this entire year, Becky Bianca means more to them than Ronda Charlotte.
Sure.
Ronda Charlotte will get like maybe the casual fans or people that don't really know wrestling but know Ronda Rousey. I think Becky Bianca.
That's what she's there for, right?
Yeah, that's what another person's there for, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I think Bianca wins, and then you start a year storyline with Becky and Ronda because that does not need a title. Please do not put a title on that.
For sure. That doesn't. Yeah, and do that in LA. I think that's the perfect place, perfect time and place to do it.
Yeah, and I think depending on how healthy she is, you then put Sasha back in that. Oh, Naomi, you can put Naomi. Naomi and Charlotte had a really good match last Friday.
Oh yeah.
So you can put that, or you can do either Sasha or Naomi. It's fine, but I think at SummerSlam maybe you start like figuring out who Charlotte loses the title to.
Yeah,
I think that's what we get because like I think everyone agrees Charlotte should win. Charlotte might not win, but I think like if Ronda wins,
she'll make sure she does though.
That's another topic for a different day. But yeah, I think Ronda wins, then that might be interesting. Although I don't really see where you could go from there. If Ronda stays for the year, I have one wish list. Two. Sonya versus Ronda, and Shayna versus Ronda.
Oh, for sure, that has to happen.
Yeah.
It just makes sense since pretty much the rest of the four horsewomen of the MMA four horsewomen are gone.
Yeah.
Why not just have the last two battle it out? And who's the better MMA horsewomen?
And they did have a moment at the Royal Rumble, and then Ronda tweeted about being like, "Yeah, when you see your friend, but you're kind of busy."
Yeah.
And another thing that was teased, it wasn't confirmed yet, but we all think we know where this is going, is
Yeah.
Edge sat on a chair on Monday and was like, whoever in the locker room, bring me your best and I'll make you famous. That's not what he said, but that was the gist. You're just like, if you bring me your best, I'll make you live forever. One man does not need to live
I think
forever.
he even said the word phenomenal.
Yes, one man that does not need to live forever, but should enter the challenge. AJ Styles, please give me that match.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not true. I asked you for a lot of things, but this is one thing I really want. Please give me that
And
match.
Edge just said that he's wanted it too.
Yes, everyone wants that match. I think AJ's talked about it openly. Like he's just like, I want Edge.
I think he even mentioned it in his interview with the Ryan Satin.
Yeah. Because like AJ and Edge is one of those, like it's like that KO match, the KO Edge match that they had in Steel Cage. We never thought it would happen. So now that we have the opportunity, let's do it. Let's do it. So yeah, and we'll talk about Edge promos later because like that was good. Now, speaking of people that are only there to attract viewers, we have Logan Paul. Okay, I have thoughts on this, but I'm gonna let you go for a second. Like, I'll let you go first on what you think of this match. Pretty much, I know Logan Paul's just there. He's not there for a money grab. Let's be clear.
Yeah,
he is there because I don't know if he wants to, but like Vince put enough zeros, I guess. But he is there to get people's eyes on WrestleMania.
He's there to get the younger audience.
Yes.
He's there to grab even people younger than us. Like
yes.
He's there to get that heartthrob age.
Yes, he's there because of his outside fame, which is like fine.
Yeah.
But it's Logan Paul, but I don't have a problem. My concern is how this match is going to go. So it's going to be Miz and Logan Paul versus Ray and Dom.
Yeah, and Logan's skull crushing finale didn't look that great.
He did a lot better than other celebrities have.
Yeah.
I think Bad Bunny set the bar too high for like Bad Bunny and Pat McAfee set the bar too high. I think we need to remember how celebrity appearance went.
I love how Logan was playing to the crowd though. He knew that people would want him to get his.
And that's why he plays the douchebag heel much better than he plays the like, yes, I'm the face because you know me. I'm the good guy. Which I think they tried to have him do before, but it didn't work.
Yeah, they tried with being this baby face with Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. And no one gave a shit until Kevin stunnered him.
Yeah. Two more guys on the Raw side of things that we kind of know, we kind of think we know where this is going, and the other one and nobody has a clue what they're doing. We just know he needs to be in Mania. Is Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
KO, we kind of like.
Yeah.
If it's not who we think it is, it's someone close because he's been talking so much trash about Texas recently that it has to be. Even if it's okay, it might be Stone Cold. But even if it's not match with Stone Cold's still going to show up and stun him at the end of whichever match he has.
Mm-hmm. And the only other big guy from Texas that I can think of is Shawn.
And Booker.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
But they're not in Houston.
True. It's Dallas. But also, I think if that match happens, KO can get a good match.
Out of Shawn, yeah.
Yeah, KO can get a good match. Austin
would too.
Yes, KO can get a good match out of anybody. We talked about it a little bit a week or two ago. KO is one of those guys that should be able to have a good match if you go against him.
Yeah.
And like we said earlier, we don't know what's going to happen with Seth. I don't think even they know. Maybe Seth versus Austin theory? Maybe. I don't know.
Probably.
we didn't really see Austin Theory. We might see him next week or
Yeah.
the week after, but like we didn't see a lot of people.
Yeah. Theory will probably face a returning Tyler Breeze. I don't know.
Theory will have a big match. I don't think it's the match there. And you saw when Royal Rumble ended because of some things that happened after that we won't discuss because everyone has discussed it ad nauseum. Because like not every day a father fires his own son, but that's another issue for a different day. So yeah, we'll see. I don't think even they know what these people are going to do. I think they have like maybe 5 planned out WrestleMania matches, and the rest is just like
it's just go with the flow.
Do you think they do Damian Priest versus Finn Balor? Because like we saw on Raw, Damian Priest was like, "Give me a world champion type challenger," and Finn Balor answered the call.
And he's a former Universal Champion, so it
someone buy up. It's a good thing that they used the verbiage they did, because I think everybody was kind of wondering like, where does Vince McMahon see Finn Balor? And I think that answered the question when he said world champion type. Because like we all were worried after his injuries that Vince won't seem like that. But anyway, so that match happens next week, and I don't want to see a screwy finish. I think we're going to get one.
Me neither. I think it's just depending on which side do we get of Damian Priest. Do we get the Damian side or the Priest side? I'm not sure.
If the Damian side comes out, then the Demon side of Finn is about to come out. And we're going to see Damian versus Demon, no DQs.
Which I'd be into that.
Hopefully it happens at Mania.
And speaking of Balor, him and Ciampa, those two are in their 40s and they're jacked. What the hell?
Good diets.
I'm not even 22 yet, and I'm still skinny as fuck. Like, okay.
Yeah. I think we can probably talk about Ciampa and then we should move on to other things. But Ciampa might get the call up soon. We can also talk about NXT. Some things are happening. Ciampa,
he's technically already up.
No, I think he
like half and half.
Him
like
and
he's got 1 foot in NXT, 1 foot on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I think Mania time we're going to see some call-ups.
Yeah,
and we can talk about them at like closer to Mania, because like there's some guys I want to see how they do, and I think
we already talked about them last week on this show.
Yes, but also another WrestleMania match that they could make that I kind of want to see: Liv Morgan versus Alexa Bliss. Neither one of those seem like they're going to. Because Alexa Bliss just came back, so she obviously doesn't have a plan. And Liv Morgan has been kind of floating in like in the women's title picture, in and out for a while. So I think those two could have a good match.
Yeah, but it unfortunately will probably be on the pre-show.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. We'll see. Yeah. WWE, we've said a lot. It's just like wait and see.
Yeah, because let it play out thing that everybody talks about on Twitter.
I think we've known for a while. None of us know what's inside Vince McMahon's head.
Yeah, we've tried that for years, and we still can't figure it out.
Yeah. On to the other side of the coin, we have AEW, who also have a pay-per-view. This one's much closer. This one is in March 6th, and they've already done some good job building it up.
Yeah.
CM Punk. We will talk about CM Punk's promo also much later in much more depth because it's in my top 5. But CM Punk opened the show on last week and cut an amazing promo on MJ because like it's CM Punk. CM Punk and amazing promos go together.
I loved it. To start off the show with CM Punk cutting a promo, and my 2 favorite things about that. First of all, like the Maxwell Jacob Friedman, "Will you be my Valentine" line was perfect.
That took me a minute. That honestly took me because like for some reason it did not click in my mind that he was talking about Greg Valentine. I was just like, Was there a pay-per-view called Valentine's Day Massacre that Roddy Piper had a doc on the map? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna search it up. I searched up Roddy Piper Valentine, and then I was like, after I hit enter, I was like, oh, that makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
that match is gonna be bloody.
yeah. And this is gonna be Shades of Punk of old. Which, by the way, congratulations to Punk on being inducted to the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame. He deserves it.
Yeah, congrats.
The dude's a fucking legend.
Yeah. We can talk about we'll do a prediction show closer to Revolution weekend. So we can talk about who we'll think will win. But another thing that's about to come up is the tactile situation is about to get a whole lot like clearer. Because we're gonna have 2 tag team battle royals, and the winners of each of them will go on to fight Jungle Express in a 3-way match at Revolution.
Which I have a feeling is gonna be Red Dragon on one side and Kings of the Black Throne on the other.
I think it needs to be. I want to see PNP get a title run or a title shot. I need to see. But that's what I was going to bring up. There's so many different ways they can do this because AEW loves their tag teams because Tony Khan at his heart is the 80s wrestling guy and mid 2000s indie guy fan. He loves those guys. So AEW has done a good job, in my opinion. I know some people disagree.
And the Young Bucks are heavily inspired by other tag teams.
Yeah, I was going to bring up FDR, but the Young Bucks. So he's done a good job of having a lot of different tag teams in the mix who all are reasonable contenders. Some of them are just because we love them and we will root for them, whatever. PNP for a while was that. They weren't really doing anything because they were kind of like CJ's lackeys, but we were all like, they should get a title shot because we love them and we want to see them succeed. That is now Dark Order. Like Reynolds and Silver, they kind of go in and out or whatever, but like anytime they end, we're like, give those dudes a title shot. We love to see them. Uno and Stu also from Dark Order.
Yeah, both
the main pairs of.
I agree.
So speaking of CJ, on Dynamite this week, we're about to get a talk with him and Eddie Kingston,
which is going to be good because Eddie is just going to roast the fuck out of him.
Please let this lead to a match at Evolution. I've been seeing this feud for 3 months. And it's not their fault. I want to make it clear. It's not their fault. CJ had a tour. Eddie was injured. But let this end at Evolution. Just do no holds barred. Do no holds barred if you have to. But plunder match. If he told me 2 years ago I want to see Chris Jericho in a plunder match, I would have thought you were insane. But he's been really. I don't like to give CJ that much credit this time. He's been really good at plunder matches recently. Yeah.
But Eddie's gonna fucking destroy him.
That's the thing. Eddie should destroy him.
But CJ is probably gonna try to pull some strings.
I make fun of CJ as much as the next guy recently. I think CJ is still smart in the wrestling business sense.
Yeah.
I hope he sees what's happening and I hope he sees he needs to put Eddie over.
Yeah. Let's hope the GFY thing goes with the match.
Yes. And speaking of Kingston, if he wins, he might get another TNT title shot. And this is my favorite thing to talk about because this ladder match is not how a traditional ladder match is set up. Because you have Keith Lee, you have Wardlow, and you have Hobbs, who are all big men.
Yeah.
And this is gonna be so much fun.
Yeah. I'm so excited. Ever since Keith Lee has come into AEW, I've been excited for the guy.
Yeah,
dude is so fucking good.
Yeah, I don't think Keith Lee wins though.
Yeah, I knew that. If it was gonna be a face of the Revolution match, and that Keith Lee was gonna be in there, he was gonna be in there to put over Wardlow. He's gonna be in there to put over Hobbs. He's gonna be in there to put over whoever else is in this match.
We can obviously we can't talk too much about it because we don't know the other competitors.
Yeah.
If this is all big man match, please give me that. Give me Miro coming back and coming in. Give me the Butcher. Give me 10. 10 had a good match against Cole. Speaking of Cole, we have another match that's confirmed.
Yeah.
Which is Adam Cole versus Adam Page. And this is turned into a Revolution preview. I don't know why. We have Adam Cole and Adam Page. And I think Page wins this, but it's going to be a good match. And Page needs good matches in this title run because this so far.
Those two guys are so good. And Adam is so good at talking.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how they build this up because they've already given some of their best segments already because like we already had Cole talk about the other Adam in ROH, which is why Hangman used the Hangman nickname. Because like when Adam Cole got into Bullet Club, he was just like, well, I need to do something else.
And Cole is like one of the more over guys in AEW right now. Ever since he's come in, he's come in, made an impact, and he's ready to like go towards that title, and he's gonna make Hangman look so good.
Yeah. And the last match that's announced so far is Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker. I don't know where you stand on this, but I think this is Thunder Rosa's time. I think Rosa beats Britt for the title, and then she goes off on an amazing reign. And also, give me Mercedes Martinez versus Jamie Hayter already. That's my two thoughts on this.
For sure. Jamie Hayter is so good. Both her and Mercedes, whenever they have that match, that is going to be so good. I'm so excited for it. I think Rosa and Britt are going to have a good match. And like you said, Rosa should go over. Just because, especially because near the end of this reign, so far for Britt, it hasn't been as strong as the beginning of her reign.
Yeah, which I think we can talk about a little later when we talk about like Britt and her future when we do a Revolution preview show. Yeah. But for now, let's move on to our top 5. This isn't going to be in any order. This is just 5 things we loved from this week of wrestling. And the first one we talked about earlier is that CM Punk. For me, the first one is that CM Punk.
It's mine too, actually.
Will you be my van? That promo when he sat cross-legged. Yeah. When he
the picture.
Yes.
He had a physical thing of the picture. He didn't just pull it up from Twitter.
You know when I knew this promo was going to be good? When CM Punk
when his box looked like an iPad.
No. It was when CM Punk said, "My name is CM Punk. I'm alcohol-free, I'm drug-free, and that means I'm better than you." I have been watching wrestling since 2009. That phrase is ingrained in my memory because he said it so much. So when he said that, I was just like, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah. And for me, like as soon as he said that, I went, oh, we're going back.
And also, I love that it wasn't a shout, but he was like, yeah, some of these guys were inspired by me to wrestle. Some of these guys were inspired by me to be straight edge. Because we talked about this before. Danielson and Punk and how their legacies, and especially like how they want to work with the young guys. I think we don't see many feuds with CM Punk and like I don't know, CJ or whatever. We see like he's gonna work with the young guys. He might feud with like Danielson and whatever, but I think mostly he's gonna like give me young guys. I want to feud with them. I want to help them.
And he's gonna work with guys he hasn't worked with yet. For the most part.
Yes. I think that's important for Punk, that he's gonna help these guys. He doesn't want to just be like to steal the thunder. He's just like, I want to help them get to the next, like Danielson, Punk. Those guys,
Danielson's just there to beat the shit out of the young guys.
Yes. They've been clear. Their goal is they don't know how long they have left to wrestle. Danielson has said before, my mind says 3 more years and I'm out. So before I leave, these young guys, these Lee Moriartys, these Daniel Garcias, these Wheeler Yutas, these not Dante Martin, but these Dante Martins, these Ricky Starks, they are going to be top guys before I leave.
Oh, for
And
sure.
I'm going to force them, whether they want to or not. I will kick them. I will hit them. They will have great matches, and they will be top guys. They will be known in this industry before I leave. And Punk's the same way, except Punk needs from more a backstage way. He's just like, I'm not going to kick the shit out of them, but I'm going to mentor them. I'm going to make sure they have all the tools they need to be good. And then I'm going to set them out in this world, and you will love them.
Yeah.
That's been those guys' thing.
And that's where I see Danielson transitioning into a trainer or producer eventually.
Yes. Punk isn't. I don't think Punk, like, we love Punk. Like, I love Punk, you love Punk.
Yeah.
Punk does not have the patience for that.
No.
Like Kenny Omega said before, I don't want to be a coach because like that requires a lot of work I don't have the patience for. I will produce. You want me to produce a match? I'll produce a match. I can't be a coach. Do not make me be a coach. So I think Punk is kind of in that same way. He'll help guys, but he does not have the patience to like teach them or produce from like ground up.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about this before, why a lot of really, really, really great wrestlers don't become teachers. Because in their mind,
they're not. It's not always you see that, and like a good example of that, of a good trainer is a guy like Tyson Kidd. Tyson Kidd, he produces 90% of the matches on WWE TV right now. He trains a lot of people. He's literally like this genius who retired too early in my opinion.
Retired too early in all opinions.
Who became basically like a modern day Fit Finlay in a way.
Yes. And so I think Danielson, that would be a role he would be good in, because like Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne is also a producer. He's a coach. And the reason they differ from a lot of these really, really, really talented guys that don't become producers and coaches is because most of those guys, they see something, they're like, yes, this is how I would do it. So I want you to do it. And when the other guy can't do it, because obviously not everyone's Pete Dunne, not everyone's Tyson Kidd, not everyone's Shawn Michaels, not everyone's Bryan Danielson. When those guys can't do it, they get upset. And Pete Dunne, the way he does it is, he looks at you. He looks at what you can do. He looks at what your character is. He's like, this might work for you. So let's try this.
Yeah.
And I think Danielson is the same way. He like Daniel Garcia, Daniel Garcia, he's not gonna be a baller, okay?
Yeah.
Then Bryan Danielson is not gonna be like, you and me, we're gonna go 20 minutes striking. Bryan Danielson might be, okay, you're a technician. Let's do a grapple match. And that kind of, well, we should talk more about MJF and Punk, but that kind of brings me to number 2, but we'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah.
So back to MJF and Punk. We just spent like 5 minutes talking about coaching. That dog collar match, I know we talked about it before, but it was interesting though, because I thought he was talking about a strap match. I thought they were going to like tie them by the hand, and then they were going to do a strap match.
I thought they were going to do maybe a death match.
No, Punk is not doing a death match. Like, let's be like, if Punk does a death match, I will respect him. But okay, we're going to go off another tangent here. But Punk is also one of those guys who is just like, if I need to walk away tomorrow, I'll walk away tomorrow. Like, that's why. So like, I don't think he's gonna be like, he's gonna like whatever Tony says, he'd be like, yes, okay, I'll do that. I'll do that for you. But he's also gonna have his limits.
Yeah,
and I don't think
he knows them too.
Yes, I don't think he sees a death match, because Punk has always been good about that. Punk will walk away, like he doesn't care. Punk can write comic books for the rest of his life, and he'll still be happy and secure. But Dark Collar, like, have you seen the CM Punk Raven Dark Collar match from all the way back then?
I saw bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, it was bloody. It was good, but that's Raven. So this time Punk is the veteran, and Punk's gonna like
he's gonna be the Raven of this match.
Yeah, because there's some things. Again, I'm not a wrestler. I don't want to speak further, but there's some ways the Dark Collar match is gonna be different than a regular match in like both blood and like technique. So I think he can help MJF with that.
Yeah, he's gonna guide Max through this very bloody and painful match. That's gonna be much more painful than a normal match.
Yes. It should be fun to see, though. It should be really fun. And that when he pulled out the dog collar, that moment was so.
Yeah.
He was like,
When
it's
he
poetic. I can
grabbed
ask you this. Uh, Piper had his, so Maxwell Jacob Friedman, will you be my Valentine? And then he pulled out the dog collar.
my favorite thing is that when Max came out, Max didn't say a word.
That was good. I like that. I like that. Like they
Yeah.
did a good job. Both these guys did a really good job in this promo. Okay,
Yeah.
since you said that was yours, I think we should move on to number 2 for both of us. Mine
Yeah.
was the thing that happened right after this, where Brian Danielson and Lee Moriarty, they wrestled their asses off in that.
Yes. My favorite, that was my match of the night last week.
We should probably
The
start having
crab
different
spot.
ones.
The crab
Yes.
spot where they're just beating the shit out of each other while they're in a handstand. I was in awe.
That was. I think a lot of people who didn't know what Lee Moriarty could do, they learned on on Dynamite.
For sure.
Yeah, that match was so good. I don't know what happens in the storyline, but like put Daniel
Maybe
Garcia
they
and
do Danielson Moxley at Revolution.
oh yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. But please keep Lee Moriarty on my TV screen.
Oh, for sure.
Yes. Now that we have the same number 2, let's do number 3. I know you do not have this one because my number 3 is from last week's Impact, which is Laredo Kid, Ace Austin, and Blake Christian. I need someone to sign Blake Christian like yesterday, please.
Oh, yeah. His matches that he's had so far since he's came back outside the WWE bubble has been great. His match in DPW was great. And to see what DPW's Blake Christian has been doing, it's just flat out awesome. And by the way, shout out to Cora Jade. She's awesome.
Yeah, Cora Jade is awesome, and we will probably talk about her when we talk about NXT and the Dusty Cup for the women's, because I have a feeling she'll go a long way in that. Yeah. But like, what's your number 3? Oh, what's the third thing you want to talk about?
My number 2, not number 2, but number 3 is the Edge promo.
That I was going to talk about that too. That was going to be like, yeah, okay, well, we'll talk about it.
It's the coolest thing I've ever seen when it comes to Edge in this current like space in his career. We know him and Christian only have a certain amount of time left in their careers, so they're making the best of what they can in their separate companies. And what Edge has done so far in WWE has just been perfect.
And Edge knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing in that promo. When he said undeniable, he knew what he was doing.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, when he said undeniable, he knew what he was doing. When he said phenomenal, he knew what he was doing. And like Edge, when he wants to be, like some promos of his have been like long-winded and whatever, but when he wants to be, Edge can still be that master promo guy that he was back in like 05 or 06. And this promo was a really good example of he just stood with the chair and he just talked. He talked about Wrestlemania and what that means to him, and he talked about what he can make it mean to someone else.
And he's always wanted to face AJ Styles, just like his buddy Christian Cage always wanted to work Kenny Omega.
Yes. So I hope that match happens. When it happens, it'll be really good.
Yeah.
Now, my number 4, since I had to change some things because we have the same ones a lot, which is good because it's like that. Eddie Edwards turns on Team Impact. That's not really a moment. That's not a match or a promo, but I still think it's worth mentioning again. Yeah. Because like we talked about before, we talked about this ad nauseum.
And it's the thumbnail also.
Yes. But like I want to bring it up again because his facial expressions while he was doing it, he was just like you could tell like he detached himself like that, and that's what I love about
He's
Eddie
so
Edwards.
good.
Eddie Edwards is so good. What's your
Uh,
number 4?
My number 4, I'm gonna put the Danielson Moriarty match. I love that. I thought, like I said earlier, match of the night. They people really learned who Lee fucking Moriarty is.
Yes. We
Eh,
talked a lot about AEW, but I'm gonna have to mention it one more time because of the thing that
yeah.
happened right after. Because John Moxley, I don't care what you think of him,
Yes.
John Moxley can talk.
Yes, he can.
He's one of the best.
And my favorite thing about that promo is when he said, "I'm not gonna stand
I don't stand with
next
someone
to
unless I
someone."
bleed with them first.
Yeah, and I was like, "John, you fucking genius."
Yeah, that match, that promo was really because he talked about their history. I don't think I know. I
Yeah,
kind of know because like I watched that Dragon Gate USA promo that John
yeah,
Moxley cut on Brian
which
Danielson
was
all the way back.
so good.
Yeah, but like he talked a
You
lot
can
about
check it
the
out here on YouTube, by the way.
yes,
For those people who haven't watched it yet,
it's so good.
when
Um,
when you're done watching this episode, go watch that promo because that promo is so good.
and he also mentioned Tracy Smothers, which I love because rest in
Yeah,
peace, Tracy Smothers. Tracy was really good, but also John Moxley and Brian Danielson when they meet because of promos like this, it's going to be so. I mean, it was
yeah.
already highly anticipated, but like it's going to be so good.
Oh, for sure.
Your last
And
one. Oh, sorry.
yeah, this is gonna be the best one they've had because I don't think they've ever had a singles match in WWE.
I don't think so. I think there's mostly been like tags and 6 bands stuff like that.
Yeah,
Because like
with
that,
Shield and
yeah,
Team Hell No
yeah,
and I think Paul White.
yeah. I think Paul was involved in that, but back when he was Big Show.
Yeah. So who's your last one?
That was my last one. That was that. Wait, so I have the CM Punk promo,
Yeah,
the triple threat, the
yeah,
Edge promo, Eddie turning, and then this promo. So yeah, that's
yeah.
5. What about you? What's your last 5?
So I have the Punk promo.
Yeah.
I have the Danielson Moriarty match. I have the Edge promo, and I need 2 more.
Oh, another thing that was I thought was really really good was that interaction we had between CJ and Eddie.
Yeah, I think I might put that as my number 4.
Yeah. So
Just simply because Eddie
see, yeah,
can
Eddie is
talk.
Eddie. Yeah.
Eddie's
We
one of these guys that you can put a microphone in his hand and he'll know immediately exactly what to say and how to say it. This guy has been doing it for over 20 years and hasn't been on a major television platform until now.
yeah, Eddie's been amazing. He's been amazing since he got to AEW. I hope he can still shine.
Yeah, he's. I so hope CJ just makes him look like a fucking $1,000,000.
Yeah. And we also touched on this earlier, but I think it bears repeating when we're talking about while you're thinking about your number 5,
Yeah,
Dante versus Hobbs.
that was good.
That was good. That was good. And I'm really
Yeah,
interested in what they do at 10 now.
yeah, me too. 10 is so good at what he does. Dude's gonna be a world champion, but like by the time at -1 is coming to AEW in a full-time capacity, probably. Like he'll probably at least have 3 championships on him by that in
Maybe
his career
we'll
by
see.
that point.
All
We'll
of Dark,
see.
all of Dark Order has been like really good,
Mhm.
and they know their roles. Like that's
Yeah.
the thing. That's the thing we say a lot, but like they know their roles. I just
Yeah.
hope we can interact between Dark Order and Paige.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of another Paige Van Zandt, I'm hoping that Jessica I said that she wanted to work in AEW. Brandy Rhodes is gone. Who else are you gonna put with Paige? Then someone that she, I believe, has fought before, and have it in a wrestling capacity. I think would be perfect. But if not, just have her wrestle somebody like Thunder Rosa or Mercedes Martinez.
I think we'll be talking a lot about Paige. Well, not in the near future, but I think Lambert will be back next week, and that was one thing that was noticeable. Like Lambert was not there.
Yeah, I
And
would assume that Lambert is going to be on the show tomorrow.
Today, by the time this drops.
Yeah, by the time this drops, he'll be on the show tonight. I'm 100% sure.
Yeah, and I don't know if you thought of it yet, but I just want to give a special shout out to Dax Harwood, and him talking about mental health was really important. And like we won't get into too much of what he said. You can go check it out. It was really good. It was really important. But yeah,
especially go listen to the 44th minute.
Also, and that's one thing I love about Eddie. That's what I love about Eddie. That Eddie Kingston he's always open about this. Like he said before, he will be a mental health advocate no matter what anyone says, because like he doesn't
give two fucks.
I was gonna say he doesn't think that because like as someone that deals with like some stuff he does, like I don't talk about that openly or as openly as I should. Like people that know, and people that don't, like that's a whole nother issue. But like Eddie said before, he doesn't think it's shameful. He like everyone goes through
he's
stuff.
normalized it.
Yes, which I think is really important, especially in pro wrestling. Which, if you know anything about the history of pro wrestling, and we're not going to get into that here, but if you know anything about the history,
that's a separate entire podcast, I think.
Yes, and we will. But yeah, that's just one thing I want to shout out Dax Harwood, shout out Cash Wheeler. Those two guys
shout
are
out
great.
Renee Young too.
Yeah, shout out Renee Young. All those guys are great. And like I think it's really important that we have these guys at the top. Like we have guys that aren't like, I don't want to say macho, but like those guys that aren't all about themselves. Like Eddie Kingston.
Not cocky.
Yes, Eddie Kingston, like he will be at the top of AEW, even if he's not a world title holder.
And he'll definitely be one of the stars if he has a title or not.
Yes, and he's not going to like care who you are. You could be like the guy they bring in for a job or a squad. He will not care. Like if you have a problem, a lot of people have said this for Eddie. If you have a problem, you can go to Eddie. Eddie has no judgment. Though I think Dax and Cash are like the tag team
are the
version of that. They'll be like, it doesn't matter if you've been in the wrestling 10 years, a day, a week, a month, whatever. You can go to them and they'll help you however they can.
Yeah. And Renee really did a good job like talking to him about that stuff, and we're in 2022. This shit should be normalized by now.
Yeah. But
like it's a whole thing that not just in pro wrestling but in the world in general that should be normalized a little bit more often.
Yeah, I think we're getting closer to that. It's not perfect because like, well, obviously we don't have to go into that, but I think especially in wrestling we're getting a little closer to that with who the top guys currently are.
Yeah,
like we saw the outpour of love from Moxley when he went to rehab, and rightfully so. So yeah, I think
same thing with FTR.
Yes, we're getting closer to it being normal. I hope we could have see a sudden shift and it go right back to where it was, but I think we're getting closer to it being normalized in wrestling.
Yeah, it seems to be, like, especially with the thing with Mox, the article that Eddie put out.
Yes, that article was good.
Yeah, I love that article. He did such a great job, and this interview with Rene Paquette and FTR, with Dax in particular, I should say.
Yeah, Well, I think that's it for this time, unless you
Yeah.
thought of a fifth thing to add. Eddie, Dax
That
Harwood. Let's just call it Dax Harwood.
yeah, the Dax Harwood the Rainier Pocket episode
Yes.
of the sessions.
Yes. Well,
That's my
anyways,
number 5.
that'll do for us for this week. As always, I'm
Yeah.
Daniel Jaddi
By
from
the
your
way,
DJ Wrestling Fan.
By the way, guys, like and subscribe in case you haven't already. Punch
And
that
comment.
notification bell so you haven't missed an upload.
Yes, and comment.
I'm Sam. That's Dan. We'll see you next time.
Bye.